Hi guys, welcome back to PBTV, and today we have brought out the Cybergun SCAR-L fully licensed platform that already has an e-shooter MOSFET fitted. So it's been a long time since I've pulled a SCAR out of a box and been super excited to get this thing on a range. Like, SCARs are iconic, everybody knows them, most people love them, maybe except this bit back here, but they are just an absolute classic of the airsoft field, and most of the time there's just not much to them. The people get them for the looks, get them for the vibe, all that kind of stuff. And again, if you're going all the way down the track, there is the Tokyo Marui that you can do all sorts of bits with, and people absolutely love and adore them. But if you're doing it on a little bit more of a budget, this thing comes out of the box and is an absolute savage platform that you will adore using inside and out, and it's got a chunk of features. Having that e-shooter and that Kestrel already built in, and it being a high-speed model, this thing does really put the power down. Obviously, we do have the tan version here. If the tan version is not to your cup of tea, the black one is available, so you can go full black. And there are a lot of PTS parts out there right now that we are going to look at maybe doing some up, tricking a couple of them up, and maybe having them in store with like the MREX rail on and some grips and various things like that. But check the website, there's loads of very cool things, not to the extent of an M4, but you can definitely make a SCAR quite unique with a couple of different bits. So what we're going to do is we'll start at the tip and work our way back, have a look at all the features, and then we'll deep dive inside into the features of that Kestrel MOSFET, and then we might go take this on a range and show you what it really can do. So at the front of this thing, we do have that classic SCAR flash hider just here. Again, this is a 40mm counterclockwise thread. Just be aware, there is a grub screw just there. Make sure that is fully removed before you're taking it off. And underneath there, you will find that 14mm thread, allowing you to put barrel extensions on, muzzle devices, tracer units, everything that you want. If you are looking at the long version of the MREX that comes to about here, you will need approximately a 2-inch extension to make it nice and flush to put some of the bigger, chunkier suppressors on there, because it is quite a thin rail system. Coming back from that, we've got the gas block and the front iron sight. The front iron sight is locked in place. If you look on the left-hand side, just here, pressing that button down lifts the iron sight up and it does lock in place again. So pressing it, then it drops away. Nice and easy to do, even whilst you're playing. It's just something you can flip up and flip down if necessary. And then we have an unlocked rear sight that doesn't need anything pressing. You can just flip that up as you see fit. Behind there, you can see these two black loops here. This is your front sling loops. They are quite small, so you may need sort of an adapter. A sling like a Mission 3 or something like that doesn't quite loop straight into these, and same with the mounting points at the back. They don't go straight in. So 9 times out of 10, what you're going to have to do is probably get a bit of maybe like a keyring loop or something. You can get sling loops that go through there, a bit of paracord or something, tie it together and use it off that. But a sling doesn't directly attach to these two anchor points. You do need a little bit of extra help. Coming back, we do have that iconic monolithic upper receiver in the tan variant. It is this lovely gold followed by the tan on the lower. And at the front, we do have RIS on the left, bottom, and the right-hand side. And these black bits here are the equivalent of like shell deflectors and things like that, and mounting points. In airsoft, they don't really do anything, but on the real steel version, it's all sorts of different bits. Coming back even further, we come to the sort of the heart of the platform, and we're going to look at the controls. So on the left-hand side here, you can see that we've got the bolt stop, the mag release, and the fire controls. So currently it's in auto. Up there it is in safe. As you can still see, with this being a Kestrel and an optical MOSFET, it does not have any form of lockout. The trigger still sort of pulls and functions, but it is still in safe. You've then got semi and full auto. Obviously all these the controls of how to do the programming with this are all online. It involves pulling the trigger in semi, flicking it to full, going through this sort of cascading menu system and getting to the bits that you need. With that, you do have a chunk of options as well. So with this being the high speed one, We are saying, and it is warranted for an 11.1. We will do a rate of fire test. They're coming in at about 320 FPS, which is absolutely spot on for me. I sort of aim for that 330, especially with like CQB and outdoors. It's sort of that magic number for me. I've had the kind of best results with it. But at 350 FPS, this thing has that option of burst fire. You've got pre-cocking. So what that means is when your piston is sat waiting, it is sat back. So normally on AEGs, your piston is here, you pull the trigger, it comes back, releases forward, and that's what shoots the BB. With this one, the piston sits here. So when you pull the trigger, it fires the BB out and then resets. So it's instantaneous. You get in that very, very snappy trigger response that your sort of snap shooting and your reactive shooting will just improve massively. You've got a binary option as well. So what binary means is when I pull the trigger, it will fire a BB, and when I release the trigger, it will fire a BB. Most sites still consider this full auto, so it's most likely not allowed in CQB or indoors or anything like that. So if you do have any full auto restrictions at your regular site, ask them about binary and what they say. It is quite useful outdoors. A lot of people saying, oh, why do you use it instead of like full auto or anything like that? You can get a very good solid rate of fire and sort of effective fire down with binary using about half the rounds that you would in full auto. You get quite accurate. You put in the rounds where you want them, and you're not just spraying a chunk of rounds in an area. So it is really good effective fire, and it's really good at sort of mitigating just dumping a quarter of your mag down instead of maybe 5 or 10 rounds instead. Also, it does have a lot of protection involved in this. So you've got a low voltage protection, you've got a rotation, sort of gear detection, all that kind of stuff to make sure this thing is running an absolute dream. Right hand side, just there, we have the bolt release, mag release. So pressing that will release the 300 round high cap that is provided. Again, any standard M4 magazines, your PTS, your EPMs, all them will work in this. It is the standard M4 system. And on the left-hand side, we do have a mag release on this side as well. So it is ambidextrous. On this one, the bolt paddle doesn't do anything. Obviously, it doesn't have a bolt stop or anything like that. But pulling the charging handle back, we can just see in there that is the gear style hop system. So adjusting that will allow you to adjust the hop, getting your BBs nice flat, sending them down range. So coming back, we have a standard M4 pistol grip for AEGs. Again, can be swapped out if you're looking at the PTS stuff and we're on about tricking this thing up. It's something that we may look at in the future. And then we do have the sort of Marmite part of this platform. I'm absolutely kind of okay with the sort of Ugg boot look that people call these. I'm not overly offended by them. I do think once this thing's shouldered, you don't have to look at it. So, and they are quite comfortable as well. It is folding, so there is a button on the left-hand side just here. Clicking that button folds it away, and again, for storage, if you're wanting to use this in CQB like this, it looks even worse than an Ugg boot, and then it snaps in place. Please be aware, that's not where your battery space is. It is rear wired, but that's not how you get to your battery space. That is at the back here. So there's a pin just here. Pushing this pin out, the rubber cap at the back will come off, and this is where you can put your battery. We also have an extension system as well. So pressing this button here slides the back stock in and out, and then a further adjustment is the cheek riser just here. Pressing this lifts it up, locks in place, and then you can press it back down. So a lot of people do think they're quite ugly. I mean, the sort of adjustment and having this thing as comfortable it is, it's probably a price worth willing to pay with it being that. If you're not overly keen on the stocks, again, they can be swapped out and changed like ACR stocks. Even M4 adapters, you can put an M4 stock on this. Not my cup of tea. I'd probably stick with as it is here, but I think it's probably time to take this on the range and really show you what this thing's capable of. I'm quite excited to throw some rounds down it because it is quite lightweight. For like SCARs have always been inherently quite heavy platforms. This thing's coming in under sort of 3 kilos, and even as it being sort of M4 spec and size, like this thing's not a big platform. So these things will be able to cut around CQB sites and have a chunk of fun with them. But we're going to throw a battery in it. We're going to throw some BBs in it. We'll take it upstairs and we'll show you what this thing's capable of on our range. So join me in a minute. Right guys, so we are up on the range. We have filled the magazine with some Delta 2.5 BBs, and we do have a 1450 milliamp battery has managed to fit in this stock, so you are going to be able to run and gun all day We have added a bit of pre-cocking. Obviously, there are up to 6 levels of pre-cocking when it comes to the Kestrel. If you are running 11.1, don't put it on anything higher than 3. It'll cause overcycling, you'll get 2-round burst, and some issues may occur down the line. On a 7.4, run whatever setting you want. What you get from an 11.1 and a bit of pre-cocking is the following. So yeah, very sensitive trigger. Again, you can feather it quite nicely, but this thing being the high speed model, you want to see it at high speed. So 300 round high cap, it is chugging away, it's keeping its pressure up, so even the magazine itself is doing service to this platform. Yeah, I think these are going to be really, really popular. I'd love to see this outside. We are going to trick a couple of them up and have them available in store with some PTS stuff. But let's go back downstairs, sit down and have a last little debrief of the Cybergun E-Shooter SCAR. Welcome back, guys. As you can see, this thing is an absolute monster. So I did put it through the chrono and test its rate of fire, and this thing on that 11.1 was chugging out 27.5 rounds a second, pretty much non-stop. It didn't even flicker whilst it was doing the reading. And again, that was through a high cap as well, so it was burning through all them rounds. We didn't have to stop and rewind or anything. The mag itself was just kept up with that rate of fire very, very comfortably. So even if you're running this on binary, burst, anything, you are going to put a serious amount of firepower downrange. Very, very impressive. Very, very excited for you guys to get these out there on the field and tell us what you think about them. But what we're going to do is we're going to take both of them, we're going to take this and the black one over to our workshop, and they're going to add some of the PTS parts just so we can show you what these things can look like once they've been tricked up a bit. So join us in a bit where we add a little bit of spice to a SCAR in a bit. So we're back again, and we said we were going to trick these up. So as we look down below, we have the black variant with the black long version of the MREX rail. So this is I think they call this 4.4, and the tan version is the 2.2. So looking at the black variant, some just very minor changes. We've taken the flash hider off and put the brake on from PTS, the micro brake. So in the future, you could just drop a Sandman on this and make it look really, really cool if you wanted to stretch the platform out and maybe look at it being a DMR in the future. So again, this is the MREX 4.4 in black. So you've got M-LOK on here now rather than the RIS, and that's on the bottom, the front, and the side. There is a slight wider section at the side, just so it feels more like a front hand grip. And again, we've swapped the mag out for a EPM style as well. With the tan variant, gone even further with the additions. So again, this is the shorter version. So again, available in black and tan in both lengths, but this is the 2.2-inch variant. We've put a little stubby vert grip on there, a hand stop at the front, and one of the Griffin suppressors. Again, swapped out the mag for a matching tan PTS. The idea of these will be available exclusively as one-offs in the store, just showing what is capable with these parts. If you want more information about compatibility, we have put that all over the MREX rails, which platforms they fit on, because it varies between brand and brand, and whether or not if it's gas or AEG. But yeah, sometimes it's not as easy. So these are extremely custom, purpose-built by our workshop with some slight modifications to make sure everything is snug and tight and Loctited in place. So these beauties will be accompanied with a custom foam cut out. So we now have shadow foam available, and these will have their own cut cases that you can come in, inspect, and if you want to walk away with the entire bundle, you can do. Just speak to a member of staff. If you just wanted to grab some shadow foam, speak to us about that as well, and we can guide you through that whole process. So just showing you what is capable with the PTS and the E-Shooter SCAR system. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.